What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the GD Chop Shop podcast. I'm your host, ProjektItachi. I can't even say my own name today. Jeez Louise.
Get together, man. I'm the one sleep deprived here.
Yeah, I'm actually not sleep deprived. I had a good start to the day. Like, I woke up a little bit groggy and I was like, okay, we got to record the podcast. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. The Game Awards was last week. And we got so much, going on, and I had to get my life together. But it's kind of funny that I started the episode not even being able to say my own name, and I feel so bad because I took my shot of Magic Mind this morning.
On week 2?
I'm on week 2, and it's like it got me going, and I got focused. I got my notes together. I got everything going. Because like I said, I started the day and I was a little bit like, oh man, I got so much to talk about. I got so much to get through. And then I was like, wait, I got my Magic Mind. I'll be good to go. I think what happened too is like, because it gave me that kick I needed, I got like my gears going, then my mouth was moving faster. In my brain, it was like, whoa, chill.
Yeah, we're not used to this much efficiency at one time.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, I'm now on my second week of Magic Mind, and I didn't know this, but they actually have matcha in it, organically grown matcha from Japan that they get at the first of the harvest of the year. And a lot of their ingredients are organically grown. And when I tell you that my stress has been drastically reduced, I've been able to stay focused, especially since we've been picking up on a lot of blog writing and getting reviews, and we've done a lot of game reviews for some developers and things like that. I've had to really streamline my focus, like start a task and focus on that task. And guys, when I tell you Magic Mind has been doing that for me, I 100% mean it. And I'm usually not a fan of like energy shots or anything like that, but Magic Mind being a mental performance shot has definitely increased my productivity, my focus, and definitely reduced my stress. So if you guys want to try it, check out the link in the episode description, magicmind.com/chop20, and grab yourself some Magic Mind, get a 20% discount. I cannot stress this enough. It actually works. It's not a quick caffeine fix. It's not like I take it, get that high and then hit that low. There's no jitters, none of that. It's meant to work over time. You add it to your daily routine, or when you get up, or after you have your cup of coffee, you can have it with your cup of coffee. It's meant to work over time, and it does exactly that. I cannot stress it enough. I've been used, like I said, I always have it. There's always my bottles ready to go. I'm about to get another set of these things because they're amazing. I do not start my day without my shot of Magic Mind. So go check it out. And once again, thank you so much, Magic Mind, for being a sponsor of this episode. Now, as I was saying before, I got tongue-tied in trying to say my own name. We got a lot of stuff to talk about because last week was the Game Awards. Everybody knows who won. Everybody knows everything that was announced, but huge congratulations to Astrobot, the team behind Astrobot, for winning Game of the Year. I think most of us saw that coming. I kind of saw it coming.
People were complaining about Black Myth Wukong not getting it, which I, by all means, I love the game. It's just that I noticed a huge gap here, a weird misplacement here with the game of the year, and then the choice awards, right? People's Choice Awards, and none of the games that people are complaining about that should have won were on. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all are saying you wanted this game to win, or that game to win, or that this game shouldn't have won, then why weren't all these games that should have won on the Choice Awards?
Yep.
But those games were all ass. Like, I'm just saying, like, people are picking like pay to play first-person shooters and third-person
Gotcha
shooters
games and
gotcha games, like, instead of like actually good games.
But at
like,
least Black with Wukong won people.
Yeah, it won some things in some areas, and as it should have. And I was disappointed not to see it win though, because that game was absolutely beautiful. But you know what? We said it last time that PlayStation. We said in the last episode that PlayStation does not have a proper mascot in the same way that
Nintendo, even
Microsoft and Microsoft do, or I guess Sega, even though they're in a weird spot with that. But when you think of Sonic and Sega, you think of them together.
They're synonymous, yeah.
And I think what people don't look at in the gaming awards, they look at popularity, they look at cinematics, they look at stuff like that, which is all fair. Those are all fair things to look at. But less people seem to look at things like innovation, user friendliness, family available, like what's the word? Not availability, but the
accessibility.
The ability of a family to play a game together and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what happened here. It was a combination of all these things for it to win. So
yeah, that's why I said I figured Astrobot was going to win, because just the sheer accessibility of it.
Yeah, I heard that it made from the kind of sort of demo situation that was initially
a VR game.
Yeah, a VR game to what it is now. And I have not played this version of the game. And because I did not play, I've seen some gameplay, but because I did not play, I don't feel like I can complain that it won if I myself didn't play it to try it out to be able to properly test it. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Sony buyout." I'm like, calm down. I mean, it's just a game you didn't want to win. Yeah, I wanted Wukong, Black Myth Wukong to win, but I'm not like, oh well, like whatever.
And I wanted, Metaphor to win, but I'm just content with Metaphor getting recognition at all and taking home a couple of awards.
I wanted it to win too. I didn't play this one, but I'm familiar with a lot of their games, and a lot of their games just don't get recognized like we all wish they would. And it would have been cool to see an underdog like that, someone who kind of just is like real niche, get a W, but that's okay. Yeah, but I think we can all agree that it's a good thing that the DLC didn't win. Shadow of the Erdtree,
and as I say it as
Elden Ring.
Yeah, as a diehard Elden Ring fan, I'm glad it didn't win, because that would have set a precedent we don't need.
Yeah.
I'm glad Final Fantasy. I played every game on the Game of the Year list except Balatro. I can't. If I'm butchering the name, I'm sorry, guys. Please don't crucify me for it. That never even hit my radar. I didn't even know what that game was until this past week. But apparently, as much as people like family-friendly games, they like card games, I guess. Somebody said something about gambling. I don't think it's a legitimate gambling, but it gives the illusion of gambling.
Oh, you mean like microtransactions do?
Now, I don't know. I didn't look into
go there. Yes.
I don't. It could be. I just saw it was like a big card game.
I'm just feeling salty right now. If you can't tell, I'm feeling some way right now about the gaming industry and anime fans. I'm trying to continue.
He's trying to keep it contained. We're going to touch on that a little bit, because I know what you're referring to. But what we're going to focus on, honestly, is the games that appeal to us, that stood out to us, that are going to be coming out next year. 2024 and 2025 have been phenomenal years for games. 2025 is already stacked. My wallet is already crying. Please don't do this to me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I got it. There's so many bangers coming out. We got a first look at Borderlands gameplay for Borderlands 4. We got a reveal trailer for The Witcher 4, which we're going to talk about in a bit. And we got to see some games make a major return. And then for us, Elden Ring, and Elden Ring Spinoff.
Man, when I tell you, I know that when that trailer dropped, you remember back in the day when you used to be able to go to these events?
Mm-hmm.
Now not so much anymore. And you could hear the clapping and the excitement of the audience. Can't hear that anymore. But I feel like when that trailer dropped, I could feel it was as if millions of people around the world, their hair stood up, their jaws dropped, and they were, for that moment, actually happy again.
So let's dive in a little bit about Elden Ring, Nightreign.
Before we do this, sir,
boy.
I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh, you want to do this now?
I have a bone to pick with you, okay? For people who are not aware, because I've been very vocal about this. Recently, Mr. Itachi here decided that it was a good idea to do New Game Plus 4.
I'm going to interject right there.
I agreed to your proposal.
Suggestion. Yeah, my proposal.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I believe it had something to do with you saying
that there would not be,
there would not be a DLC to Elden Ring. Now, it has been, because there was a little confusion when the trailer dropped, right? There was like, oh, is this a standalone? Because, right, they said it was a standalone. They made it clear. Yeah. But there was a lot of excitement, right? So, like, and I kind of like, I was watching, but I was like in the middle of other shit. So I was having, anyways.
And yelling at me.
And yelling at you. Because it crossed my mind. It made me realize that this guy just make me start New Game Plus 4 when there's what I thought at the time was a DLC, another one dropping. And I'm like, look, I don't know how many of you guys have played New Game Plus in Elden Ring, okay? So far, New Game Plus up to 3 has been fine. Easy day. But if you haven't noticed, the higher up you go in New Game Plus, yes, you get more help me out here. My runes, my brain's dying now. I've been up for like 20 hours.
Some magic mind?
I need some magic mind. But where was I going with this? Anyways, difficulty level. Okay. So New Game Plus, you get more runes, but you're still, even with those extra runes, you're not leveling up quite as fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go butcher the Albinauric's homeland or prison. I don't know if they're, like what exactly the lore is there. Is it their
little isolated cliff?
Are they kind of just squatting there? And we just
whatever. Anyway, squatting.
Anyway, it's like downtown LA in California. It's just like the homeless section, but it's Albinaurics, and we just slaughter them for XP. Don't slaughter homeless people. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, we don't condone that. Leave those. Anyways, we're not leveling up as quickly. Point is, we get to New Game Plus 4. They're built different, people. The enemies starting in New Game Plus 4, it's immediately noticed that they're built different.
And I know people will be like, well, I'm on New Game Plus 5 or 6 or whatever, and I played solo. And I think people forget you actually are having an easier time on solo.
In some ways, there's pros and cons.
In some ways, you're going to have an easier time because of the health.
A lot of people don't realize that when you play co-op, it increases the enemy's like power and strength and all like their stats and their death. But anyways,
and don't forget invaders.
The point is, I thought that this was a DLC at first because the excitement, and I was tired and like also at work trying to watch this thing. So it's not a DLC; it's a standalone game. And do you have more details on this?
Yeah, I do. But first, I want to say, everyone, he was fussing at me in Discord, called me out, and was like, "You said
I'm out of use language.
To DLC, and here we are in New Game Plus 4. I'm so mad at you. We are farming and grinding this out together." Only for later to realize I technically wasn't wrong. It is not a DLC. It is not going to be connected to the main game.
As it shouldn't be, because I don't know if you saw the trailer, but people were like running up walls and do like straight ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Like freaking
I will just also point out
in the Elden tree. Like
I'm glad that it's
the
its
lands
own
between.
thing, entirely. But also, he still hasn't apologized for yelling at
I'm not
me.
gonna apologize. It still stands. I'm still stuck in New Game Plus 4 and I have to see through. And I should have just stayed my ass in New Game Plus 3 with every single little cranny and nook completed in that game.
Anyway, hey, at least it's not connected. But more details on Elden Ring. Nightreign. I know a lot of people are getting bent out of shape because it's not Miyazaki directing it, but Junya Ishizaki. And as soon as people heard that, they're like, oh my gosh, it's the fall of FromSoft. Oh my gosh, it's the end of Elden Ring.
How do you suck this bad at being a nerd?
Right. And I'm like, okay, obviously you guys don't watch the credits and you're not true Souls fans, because if you actually were true Souls fans, you would realize that he has worked on every single Souls game since Dark Souls. Like,
plus he's Japanese. They're gonna work him to death. Like the game.
But he was a level for all of you who were like, oh my gosh, the wonderful level design of Dark Souls. Not you, Dark Souls 2, but Dark Souls 3. And, the amazing level. And you guys keep talking about how amazing these levels were. Hey guys, he was a level designer. Oh, the combat was so good in Dark Souls. It was so great in Dark Souls 3. We ignore 2. And it was great in Elden Ring. Hey, guess what, guys? He was also the combat designer for those games
the combat
as well.
Battle director.
Yeah,
that I didn't know. I didn't know he
director.
was the battle director in Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Yeah. So all the things you guys have loved about the Souls games and Bloodborne, he was a critical part of. So he knows what he's doing, obviously with Miyazaki's blessing. So guys, calm down. Try it before you knock it.
I'm not hearing a thank you from the audience here, from the fans of Dark Souls games and Elden Ring, because what have people been asking for since Dark Souls? Co-op.
Fluid, uninterrupted co-op.
And what are they about to give us?
Fluid, uninterrupted co-op.
And I don't know if you got a good look at some of the creatures.
Oh, I did.
Maybe it's just conjecture. Maybe it was trick of the eye. Maybe it's just a similarity. A couple of those creatures looked like a couple of other creatures
from Dark Souls
that beat my ass before I had somebody to play with.
Yep. We're in a good spot, and it's a roguelike game. I know a lot of people.
The pinnacle of mankind, people.
Yeah.
Fluid co-op in a Dark Souls game or a Souls game.
We have reached a new level
of mankind.
Yeah. And it's a roguelike.
Ninjutsu up the wall.
So here's the thing. I know everyone's probably, and I'm kind of grateful for this because I don't know why, and you're free to do whatever you want in your game. This is just my personal.
No, you're not.
bias.
I'm gatekeeping.
No, I'm not okay, I'm about to gatekeep a little, but I'm gatekeeping on your creativity. I am so sick of the kissy face character designs that run around naked with a beat stick. I'm thinking that is no longer going to be an issue because there's 8, it's as if I read correctly, 8 characters that your team can pick from to go through the levels in what are 3-day cycles to get to the final bosses, to fight those final bosses. And each of them have their own abilities and fight styles. So it's more of a straightforward roguelike with co-op, which means it's still going to be difficult because they're saying, hey, we're keeping that difficulty, but you're going to be able to have your friends with you. You're welcome. Like, I don't know. Maybe
I'm sorry. I kind of zoned out there for a minute because in my head, I already know what's going to happen. The same thing that happens every time we get in the boss fight. Because it'd be you, me, maybe Burn, probably not, and then Yuli. And at some point, you're going to hear me scream, and you're going to look over, and some creature is going to have me triced up in the air, beating the shit out of me. And I'm just going to be going, help me. And y'all are not going to help me. You're going to stand there laughing.
Oh, yeah. Also, just quick note, Burn, looking at you, calling you out.
Call them out on the
Suck
podcast.
it up, sir. You're
Mr.
joining us in this.
I beat Demon Souls.
So our friend Bird, he tries so hard to avoid Souls games.
Work in a game.
Yeah. But now we're not going to give him that leeway. It's not a straight up Souls game. It has a whole different pursuit. You don't have to worry about invaders because the focus is PvE. So all the invaders, guess what? Y'all going to have to just stay on Elden Ring. You're not going to be ruining anyone's road
Until
runs.
they add it and then we're eating those words. That's okay.
Yeah. So
there'll probably be a battle arena or something.
I'm sure they're going to come and add features to the game. One thing I'm glad about, it's not going to be a live service. He really wanted to emphasize it is not a live service game. When you pay for it, you get the complete game.
And that's kind of a cornerstone of FromSoft games. I know there's that whole thing with Tencent, I think, wanting to do like a mobile version. And honestly, I don't care. Like if they want to do side things, whatever. As long as I call them the real versions of the games are real versions of the games, and that's something that I don't want to see go away in our lifetime, is what's left of games that are complete when you get them and good and fun, even if they're challenging. Like, I don't want to lose that experience. And FromSoft is doing this thing right now. Miyazaki really is doing this thing where he's gatekeeping Game of the Year. He's gatekeeping that thing.
His name is just popping up, and each year he's like, I want my name up there so they don't forget. But yeah, it's not going to be a live service. You're going to have everything right up front. And I'm totally looking forward to it. Elden Ring. It's a big enough game that a spinoff doesn't surprise me.
Well, and there's nothing to say that there won't be a DLC for Elden Ring down the road, because there is a lot more that could be added and covered if they wanted to. I mean, Elden Ring is truly a phenomenon. Like, it has the potential to be, and you know, say what you want, the Game of Thrones of gaming. And in the sense of like size and how much money it can make and spin-offs. And I don't see a problem with that as long as the formula continues to stay true.
Yeah.
And the games continue to be not live service.
And they are changing some core mechanics, because this is a whole different area, either of Limgrave or twisted version of Limgrave.
I saw that because one of the guards looked like someone that tried to beat my ass the other day.
And I saw that Basilisk boss. I'm not looking forward to whatever that is.
They had me choking up when I saw a spider scurry across the ground, and I was like, you can't just give us one game without a spider, can you?
There's the spider. So Elden Ring Nightreign, definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. So much more to come that I'm hoping we get more details on, so that we can talk about it in another episode.
Imagine if they allowed it to like be connected to our Elden Ring base account.
So the stories are connected from what I've read. It's all connected.
Right. We're just going to be playing some other Tarnished or something.
Yeah. Whether it's a different one of the other mentioned continents, because there are continents around Limgrave. And apparently enemies don't respawn when you rest at Graces. So this is a whole different, something else is happening around what we know as Limgrave.
Are we going to be watching the outcome of what our character did, which was...
That would be awesome.
Destroyed everything.
Yeah, that would be
It's our guy just like, they fucked up. And it's like, yeah, because we were the bad guy the whole time.
The rest of the Tarnished, we're playing the Tarnished who didn't get into Limgrave or something. That would be a cool concept, but the
homeless, like, poor Tarnished that didn't get let in.
Yep, that would be cool. But anyway, let us know your thoughts. We could have a whole episode on Elden Ring. We've done that like so many times. We could do that on the game before it even comes out. Let us know your thoughts. Are you excited about Nightreign? Are you not excited about it? Do you like the direction it might be going? Are you willing to give it a try? let us know. We would love to hear from you. The next game that caught both of our attentions, because I know we're both fans of it, is The Witcher 4. Wow. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, I gotta say, guys, why are so many of you upset that Ciri is the protagonist? Did you not pay attention? Did you skip all the cutscenes and the story in the previous Witcher games? Because if you paid attention at all, if you were a true Witcher fan, period, and not just an action game RPG junkie and just played it for the sake of hack and slash, which, hey, if that's what you do, that's on you, but then you got no ground to complain when they change the protagonist. Because the whole thing in Witcher 3 was setting her up to take over. This should come as no surprise to anyone. Everyone who's arguing it's a woke thing, I'm like, you guys have beaten that term into the ground. You slap it on anything that you...
people have used the term woke so much on every level that it has no meaning.
It has no meaning
because
it's
slapping
on all of it.
In all the meanings, it doesn't make any sense anymore. Like when I hear someone say woke now, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Ciri becoming the main protagonist is not...
Read the books, which a lot of people did. I didn't read the books, but with that said, I play the games. Like, at least have done one of the things so that you would be aware of this having been set in motion a long time ago.
Even if your first experience with The Witcher was the Netflix seasons
which started off strong.
Ciri was set up to become a main. That's the whole thing. Yeah, we all love Geralt. Geralt of Rivia, it's synonymous with The Witcher, but he was meant to be the mentor, guiding hand, father figure to the catalyst, which is Ciri. It's always been
that man
Ciri.
Retired. You not see him at the end of Witcher 3? Let that poor man retire.
So everyone getting bent out of shape about that. And it was funny because my iPad came to life. She was like, huh? But everyone getting bent out of shape about her taking over. It just shows that you guys are ignorant to the actual lore of The Witcher. So do us all a favor.
Say, man,
keep your mouth shut. Let us enjoy the game.
That trailer was cold.
That 6-minute trailer, absolute chef's kiss. I am excited to play. And like you were saying when you were watching, it was like, she is what Geralt was in his prime.
The way she was moving, I was like, kill it.
She was mirroring him. Like, you can tell he trained her, because it was like watching Geralt. And I was like, whoa. And then she has her own innate powers on top of being a Witcher.
Which I'm pretty sure you're right. That's because people are like, kind of like, well, how is she drinking the potion? I'm like, she's not just some person picking this up who got a little bit of training. Like, she already had these innate abilities that are mystical and unknown to begin with. So,
she literally had like, and I'm sure of the world on her shoulder.
When we play the game, some things will be explained in more detail. Like,
don't skip dialogue, people. I can't stress that enough. Don't skip dialogue. The other thing I wanted to piggyback on that too, a lot of people are talking about, they're getting upset that certain characters are becoming female-led, and they're like, oh, once again, they're like, oh, it's all wokeness. And I'm like, and I had to laugh to myself. I said, dang, imagine if people found out that V from Cyberpunk 2077 was canonically female. Bet you guys didn't know that.
I don't get the female protagonist thing, because some of the best games, some of my favorite games, Tomb Raider is one of my favorite games, both nostalgically and currently. As far, I love puzzle games like that. With strategy, they've added survival to it. And I love Tomb Raider. Lara Croft is so cool. I think she's so cool. Metroid. I mean, are you kidding me? Stellar Blade? I mean, come on.
I think I think what happened is the real severe pushback came from movies, and it trickled over into games, and people haven't been able to separate the two because movies have been pushing the political agenda
like
with
Disney.
it.
Disney's been doing a lot of bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that Disney's been on some.
And that's usually what happens. Now that when you see it happening in other media, the first thing people say is, oh, here goes the Disney move, because Disney's been doing that. And we know that they're doing it for monetary gain, clout, whatever reason.
It's like dating. You date a couple people back to back who just so happen to be a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you
just
let yourself get the mindset, well, automatically everyone after this is a piece of crap, man or woman.
Yep.
I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Calm down.
But with video games, I would say it shouldn't come up. Now, this is not saying that there aren't games out there that intentionally push a political agenda.
Oh, they do.
But you can smell them from a mile away.
Like what was that game?
That
piece
and
of crap
Dustborn.
garbage that I forgot about Dustborn.
Everybody forgot about Dustborn.
But yeah, your point is made.
Yeah. But if you're actually a video game fan and you pay attention to a developer, you should not be suddenly shocked and surprised when they do a certain thing. You're just more likely to notice it now more because of companies like Disney pushing things so hard. But like the big pushback with Dragon Age, granted, I know the scene everyone's talking about, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so woke. And I'm like, well, BioWare has always been this way. It just stands out more to us because it was thrown in our face by other media.
Yeah.
But that was always a BioWare
and that's something that I can give them too, is like they've always, whether it was in a satirical way or serious, who knows, but they've always put like random, bizarre, out of place dialogue in those games.
Yep.
So it was nothing really new.
It was
and
nothing.
I do like we have got to start separating the bullshit from the typical, from the norm and stuff that's expected out of certain studios. Like, just pay attention.
Yeah.
Be a gamer, not, I don't know, whatever you're trying to be. Not a freaking fan of gaming.
It's not being a gamer. But yeah, CD Projekt Red, their last Cyberpunk 2077 and now Witcher 4, they've focused on female leads. Marvel's Midnight Suns is another example of a female lead. They gave you the option to be a guy, but if you're actually paying attention to the story, canonically, it's a female lead.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't get it. I get it for other medias, but in this regard, that is terribly misplaced. So, but personally, I'm excited for The Witcher 4. That's going to be an amazing game. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to be playing The Witcher 4? The correct answer is yes. We will not accept any other answers other than yes. And yeah, so totally looking forward to that game. Was there anything that caught your eye in particular?
Yeah, like I said before, I was balanced. I had to catch up of the gaming awards after the fact because I was at work when it was happening. I didn't really kind of do my thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, we covered Elden Ring, the standalone game, and that was the game right there. Like, my mind has been on that.
That's true, because it was like a good hour of you still fussing at me about that.
Dude, I really thought for a minute, because I didn't realize, because again, like, some stuff was out of context for me and the excitement. I really thought, I was like, dude, Itachi screwed me over. He screwed both of us over. I have to go through the entire. I was stressing. I was like, I'm gonna have to go through all of because I'm a completionist with Souls games. I was like, I'm gonna have to go through all of New Game Plus 4, every dungeon, every single thing, and then the DLC, then the freaking DLC, and then the new DLC, because I thought it was a DLC at the time. Yeah, no.
Well,
nothing else in particular. I had a lot of fun looking games, but Elden Ring is the one.
As a side note, Intergalactic did catch my eye from Naughty Dog. I didn't know that I heard they were working on another project, but it was just like, it was hush, hush, hush. Intergalactic brings a very retro space vibe. I gotta say, I'm feeling it from what I saw from the trailer. It looks really, really good. It started off looking like a No Man's Sky update, but then when I saw that the ship had the name Porsche on the back, I was like, oh, this is someone else. And it was Naughty Dog.
Dude, I just want to take a second. Like, Snoop Dogg has got it made, bro. That man is in retirement, and his retirement, he claims he stopped smoking weed. Get out of here. No, he did not.
Nah.
Wait, is he Snoop Lion? I don't know. He's Snoop Dogg. He was being wacky. He's like vibing in his retirement, dude. Like the man's just gaming. Like he just games and streams.
I think he opened up his own development studio too.
Smokes a little weed and then gets up on stage and just drops a new single. Like, what was that? And it was good. Like it still had like that kind of 90s, early 2000s. I was like, dude, Snoop only drops vibes, man. He doesn't drop like top hitting charts or bad songs or good songs. He just drops vibes. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. Snoop made that 10th anniversary worth it just by being there. He brought it to life. He was like, everybody stand up. And I was like, oh, he just turned it into a party. He was like, everybody sit here for 3 hours now. Let's stretch them legs. Let's jam.
I need to know if he gets stressed out because he just always looks like he's like,
so chill.
Whatever, man.
He probably, he handles his stress definitely differently than most of us for sure. For sure. But yeah, Game Awards, I think it was good. I'm glad they addressed issues that a lot of gamers were talking about. They made jokes of their own issues, like the DLC getting nominated, gamers actually getting good games, and developers taking care of the gamers taking care of the developers, and not always just bending to the will of shareholders because they just care about the money. I'm glad that the Game Awards addressed that. Because that's the thing. I'm like, these shareholders, unless they're a dedicated gamer, all they see are dollar signs. So they just want to make money. And that they ain't it. They shouldn't be making all the calls. So definitely glad that they addressed that. Now, for my final thought, well, I won't say final thought, but final tidbit of things that I've been tinkering with. I got a chance to play, and I implore you guys to try this game out. Have you heard of the game Betamax?
No. Oh, is this one of the test games?
So we got a key from the developer, and thank you so much to the developer for giving us a key to their game. Betamax is a very retro. It has a very retro theme, like 80s retro, and it's a puzzle game, but it's not. It's not a. I don't want to say like difficult. It's more of just a fun puzzle game. Like you get sucked into the TV, and you're using the remote to solve the puzzle by stopping and rewinding. So you can pause, rewind, and fast forward through the level to get from point A to point B. And I love Betamax so far because you can't truly fail. It's not a punishing puzzle game where it's like you make a mistake, you got to start all over. No, they pretty much promote you to take your time, figure it out, and literally rewind. You fall off the map, the screen turns to the little classic static fuzz. You just hit the rewind button. And it literally could rewind. Like if you want to rewind that whole 5 minutes of the level, you could rewind the whole 5 minutes of the level.
Be using that in real life.
And I loved it because I went in and there's 2 blocks, and some blocks you can't manipulate with your remote. Time manipulations, basically the most, straightforward way I can explain it. And there were these moving platforms that I couldn't rewind. They couldn't be controlled by my remote. And I had to jump from one platform to the other platform to get to the other side while they were crisscrossing each other. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, these platforms move fast. And if I miss my jump, I got to rewind. But I had timed it where I hit the first platform. I went for the jump of the second platform. I missed it. I did a quick rewind and I paused my character in midair because the platforms were still moving because they couldn't be affected. And I waited until the other platform went under my character. I went and pressed play. So my character landed on the platform and then I walked across to the other side.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually think I would like that because I like games like Portal and stuff. So it sounds like something that would be up my alley.
Yeah. It's and the music, it's actually really good. It's really funky. I love the music. It's got that dub, lo-fi, 80s, and it's just and it's a really good game. If you guys get the chance, I would go on Steam, check it out, wishlist it if you can. I've had a lot of fun with it. I actually was playing it before we started recording because I was like, oh man, I got to get through this list, this backlog of games I've got. And I was like, you know what? I got the key to Betamax. Let me try out Betamax. And I got so into it. I had to look at the clock and I was like, oh man, it's almost time to record. I got to gear up for the recording session.
No, you
had a lot of fun with
So
Betamax.
yeah, you get pretty into like strategy games and stuff. So I can see you being like sucked into that.
Yeah. And it's not frustrating. It's not a punishing puzzle game. It's not one of those games where I was like beating my head against the wall and then
like you can just vibe with the music and just kind of enjoy the game.
And even if it took you like 10 minutes to get through the level,
but not overly challenging.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I took a little long on one of the levels. I can just restart it and then go for a faster time. It was all rewarding. To get through those Betamax levels. So once again, thank you to the developers for giving us a key to try out your game. I love it. I will definitely be continuing to play that in the foreseeable future. So yeah, Betamax, definitely on the recommend list for an indie game. Anyway, that is all the time we have for this episode. A lot we tried to cram into this episode. So expect another full episode for next week. And also, guys, don't forget, check out Magic Mind in the description for this episode. Go to magicmind.com/chop20 to get yourself their amazing mental performance shot. I promise you guys will feel amazing after trying it for just a week. You will not regret it. That's a cheesy sticker of approval guarantee right there. Anyway, that's all the time we have. Take care of yourself and each other. We'll catch all of you wonderful people on the next podcast.